Let's go. Pure blood's in the building. This is the Underground. World News Live. We're back at you here on this February 25th, 2026. Good evening, and thank you, Steely. Right at the gate, man. Legendary. I appreciate it to the fullest. Thank you for that super chat. Much love, everyone out there. Thank you for the quick feedback there. Pixie, Geo, good to see everybody out there. Thank you, Steve, John Boy, Tiffany, Daz, Crown Jewels, all my UK cats sliding in. Right there, man. Meat Puppet, Kenzo. Hope all is well. Got a lot going on. Jay from the Ville, good to see you. All right, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, the bell notification. You might want to check it all anyway. Serious. I go and I check my subscriptions, and none of the stuff is like checked the way that it should be ever. I'm so censored, man, that like you're probably best off just checking in on me, stopping in once a day, see if I've dropped anything, because you don't get the alerts when you're supposed to. I don't even get them when I'm supposed to for Rumble. It's sad, man. It's supposed to be the new up and coming site and all this stuff competing with YouTube, but like none of them can send out across the board notifications on time. I noticed it was like the next day when I got the Rumble notification. What good does that do? Anyway, live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the schedule, and I do thank you if you share the stream to the fullest. We got a lot to cover here, man. Lots to dive into, as we always do here. Thank you, Crazy Tacos, for sharing the stream. And anyone else that does, I see him over on my X feed. He reposts it over there. Anyone that I see over there in the notifications, I try to give a shout out to. And much love to everybody on X, if you can hear me, and Rumble. And let's get this party started. Yeah, as always, plenty to go through. And we're going to start here with, we'll start here on the economic side real quick. CME halts all metals today. Natural gas markets, all this gets brought to a halt. Some people miss this. Going about their daily business. They didn't even realize that something like this went down. Well, whenever the CME halts like this, everything gets stopped dead in its tracks. And you want to know why. Is it somebody dumping? What's going on? They're saying this time it's a technical issue. And I just don't buy all the technical issue stuff all the time. Yes, it happens. But we're so close to a big market event that I would watch this stuff. Frank, thank you. Much love. Right back at you. Thank you for the super chat. If you guys are invested in metals, the metals, well, I'd say, where we at? We'll pull up AppMex here off screen real quick. Just check the price. We're at $90 right now on silver. And we are at 5,200 on gold. The two big ones we're always watching. So, man, you might have got that pullback. It was a quick one. I don't know what's going to happen from here. With war brewing with Iran, I fully expect this thing to bust back through 100 in terms of silver. Once that all dies down and the climate can kind of die down surrounding the U.S. and stuff like that, we could see a pullback. But they're talking like 5,600 gold here, easy. We make a move in Iran, and that's going to take silver back up over 100. But when the market kind of glitches like this, people get scratching their head like, hold on, what's going on? We're up here at all-time highs. The market's running red hot. And some people saying, well, you know what that means? Sell, get out. I've told you for the longest time, don't get caught in a 401k when these big dogs go to make their move. I'm telling you. Counting the day. Thank you for the coffees. Much love. God bless. Gold, oil, uranium, all affected here, all shifting. And I would really watch gold for real, because I think it's just going to continue on a tear, and silver can make better gains than gold, in my opinion. I don't know a lot of people that are invested in uranium. You can. Oil, the same. But I'm along the lines of holding on to something physical, not the paper market, right? So I don't know if you want to be holding on to uranium, barrels of oil. That's why gold and silver are key in the market. Now that Trump doesn't have to bring down gas prices for this or that, or jump to any of these hoops, the gloves are off, so to speak. You're going to see him do whatever, and if it affects the markets, it affects the markets. Market bets soar that the Fed will cut rates to 2% in 2027. Let's hope so. That'd be huge for the country. You're going to need it, to be honest with you. Steve, man, much love. Thank you for that. 2%. With the market, everyone out there trying to get a house, the percentage they're getting is like around 7% or something like that. They're like, whoa, that's high. They don't want that. Well, if they do some cuts, especially as soon as the new guy gets in there, which should be here in May at the latest, um, they can start cutting immediately. They expect them to cut immediately. This is going to be good for people in the short term. The housing market is kind of like it's in a position where there's a lot of sellers. There's more sellers than buyers at this point. And Trump is saying that he's going to stop BlackRock and all these other places from buying homes in mass. Well, let's see it, big boy. Let's do it. Because we all know the game at this point. They're coming in, they're buying in all the housing, and they're turning around and they're renting it to the same peoples that was owning before. So it's turning owners into renters when they do this, by and large. Then you've got other guys like Bill Gates out there. He makes headlines for other stuff, but I mean, he's buying up farmland big time. The Chinese, how they're allowed to do it, I don't know, but they've been buying up land left and right. And it don't stop. It should have been stopped. And if they really cared about this country getting infiltrated, they would have done something about it. But I hope that this comes back down to lower levels here, because that's good for the economy, the market, for people, all in all. And it may not last long. If there's a dip, they may do it just to kind of supercharge the economy. And then after that, I don't know. At some point, there's going to be a great reset here, like full blown. There's going to be a transfer of the US dollar over to a whole digital system, full blown. We're just waiting for the key events. All right, here's a heads up. If you guys are out there in the EU, you might want to look into this. Contaminated meat coming in to the EU from Brazil. This is why some countries don't take meat in from certain countries, like India, that left and right, you could catch them on film with rats and stuff running over your meat and your food, and they'll just back it up and send it off to sell. That's ridiculous. And you wonder how it gets contaminated. Well, Brazil sending out contaminated meat. Heads up. You just can't trust anything out there hardly at all anymore. You need to know a local farmer if you're going to consume any of this stuff. Or just be growing. I'd really look into buying some heirloom seeds and start growing this year, man. It is just about springtime. There's no excuse. Start growing something, man. Practice. Practice makes perfect. Start growing the things that you like, that keep you healthy. And when it comes to the meat thing, I've always been one like, if we ever run out of meat out there and we need some, like, we're gonna have to go out and we're gonna get a deer. There's plenty of deer out here where I'm at, but you best believe when times get rough, if it hits the fan, if there's some kind of disease broke loose, even that would thin out. You just don't know what you're getting at these stores. My conscience hits me every time I pull up around a gas station or the Wendy's and Arby's, all these mystery meat places, McDonald's, all of them. I trust none of them. Trust none of them. None of it at all. The only place that I'd even consider to get like a burger or something like that is like a place that does like some home cooking and some stuff like that's got a good reputation. You can't find them everywhere, but yeah, it's getting to be slim pickings out here between the stuff that you can eat and you can't, because it's like junk, garbage, poison, and it really, really is. Like everywhere. You walk in a store and like everything's got GMO in it. or a bioengineered ingredient, right? Slipped into the label. I mean, it's everywhere now. It doesn't matter what candy bar you're going to reach for, what anything. Bag of chips, it's all contaminated. Yeah. Yeah, and people just want to like ignore it. Like ignore it till what? It catches you in health, and then you're sitting there wondering why something's wrong with you when you're consuming this stuff. It's I don't know, man. I put the heads up out there for a reason, man. Just look into if you care, look into these things, man. Keep it pushing. Off to this next one. They say 80% of the world's population will use social media by 2028. That's a lot. A lot of the world. I mean, it seems like right now a lot of the world is connected in, but yeah, 80%. That's a lot. Going to be, I would say, like, limit your time on social media, especially the kids and all that. For real. To maintain a healthy lifestyle. Too much screen time, too much scrolling. It's not good, man. It's just not. These are the world's 10 deadliest viruses. I figured I'd point them out because it's probably out of this bunch that the next big event's going to happen. Like, deadly event. Like, the one that scares the crap out of me. Ones that I've like gotten visions out of, where it will shut down everything. Where they'll have people at gunpoint. And the reason being is because the fatality rate will be so high. Well, when you look at the deadliest viruses out there, at the top is rabies. You're talking viruses to human death toll per year. And it's showing the fatality rate. So it's got different metrics here and like where you can find it the most. Now, rabies, they've got over Africa and Southeast Asia and stuff like that, but rabies is common all throughout the Americas as well. Most people know this. B virus, that commonly found in monkeys, has an 80% fatality rate. Then you've got Lucho, connected to rodents, 80%. And that really kind of slides under the radar. Not a lot known about it, said about it, talked about. But then you have Nipah. And this is the one that really catches my attention because of the things that's been going on with it here recently. In India, the death count, you can see it's higher than the other ones. 21 deaths there, 4 deaths there, 4 deaths there. Nipah has 600. The fatality rate is between 40% and 75%. That range right there is the range that I see them sticking this. Like, you could say 50%, which Hendra is the next one. Human contact with infected horses. Then Ebola, which really, 15,000 plus deaths. Everybody has heard of Ebola. It's got a 50% fatality rate. So if a new strain of Ebola got out there, it could do massive damage. All of these smoke COVID because COVID came nowhere near any of these numbers. This is the facts, Jack. That's how big of a scam everything was. Come nowhere near this, but they ain't been locking down the planet for none of this other stuff like they did, right? So Marburg, 50%. It's another one to watch. And you've got H5N1, which has been at the top of the radar for a long time. We've got the ladies on record saying that they've been practicing and they've got all the stuff done, like ready to go for H1 or H5N1 for the bird flu. That's the scary part about that. That's why when you're looking at this whole list, you're like, okay, which one's it going to be manufactured? Well, H5N1 slides to the top just because they're ready. They're on record saying they're ready. Like they've already got jabs lined up on deck. They're ready, and that's a 50%. So you can see that like any one of these here, 50, 50, 50, 50 plus, 50 plus, it's going to be a 50 plus fatality type of deal here. Half the people around you, half the people that get this, right down the middle, are going to drop dead. That's scary. That's the real deal scary. Because society breaks down at that point. There is no going to the gas station. There is no life as you knew it before. There is no going to the mailbox and touching it. There is no nothing like you knew it before. You risk death. And the people that do, they'll be the first ones to die. And families sit back and they'll be shocked. Everybody will be shocked. They'll be shocked because this did not happen last time. They did not see best friends and even doctors and all this other stuff dropping dead left and right. Yeah, people succumbed to getting their lungs blown out. We covered all that and all kinds of other things during the whole thing, but largely, and the numbers don't lie here. COVID's nowhere on the map, man. You can just sit down, shut up with the COVID crap. People trying to say, oh, well, you're still trying to make excuses. It was a large scam. Okay, everybody seems to know this at this point. You can take your mask off, you know. Unless you got a valid reason to wear it, right? I know some people out there got illnesses and stuff they have to wear it, but it was part of the IQ test, you know. You can see ticks here for CCHF at 10 to 40%. I don't see that really being, it could be, but like if they were going to do that, that I would see them like dropping ticks from airplanes or something crazy to disperse it. MERS, COV, there at the bottom, 36%. If you had to pick one, which one would it be? Off this list. MERS, CC, H5, Marburg, Ebola, Hendra, Nipah, Lujo, B, rabies. I mean, wasn't it, I forget what movie it was. I thought that it was rabies, the rabies vaccine or something in the lab that mutated. And any one of these could mutate, right? And like turn crazy. It doesn't even got to mutate. Like, isn't what they've done in the lab to it the mutation already, where you make it super deadly? You know, I don't know if you're gonna see people reanimated zombies out there from any of this. I just know that it's gonna drop bodies. I'm gonna pick. All right, I see Ebola. I see Ebola, a couple of Ebolas. I'm gonna say H5N1, Ebola, Nipah. That's my top three. H5N1, Ebola. Really, to me, they're all even, same percentage. That's my top three. H5N1, Ebola, Nipah. They kind of like stand out. We'll see, I guess. Unfortunately, because they're gonna do it. The people won't. We've been through all this, and people won't rise up and protest. They won't stop nothing. They got a bunch of known pedos in power, pulling strings, and they still won't do nothing. We should be out there flexing. Like, some of us ain't afraid, but like it takes people. It takes masses, and when a large majority of the masses don't want to move, it don't matter if you got a couple cats out here that are ready to ride. Rest of cavalry sitting there docile. And unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves right now. I'm hoping that changes as people come out of the whole MAGA slump, as I call it. They wake up out of it, get their patriotic roots back against the beast here. They're probably going to give you, I mean, at this point, even if they give you JD Vance, I mean, what good is it? At this rate? I mean, where everything's going, police state getting ushered in, this and that. I fully expect this is going to be released by then. It seems the reset's going to be done on Trump's watch. A lot of this war stuff's also going to be wrapped up on Trump's watch. You can guarantee they're not going to let. Do you think they're going to let Iran linger like around this whole? I don't think so. They went in and quickly just snatched up Maduro. Now the focus is on Iran. We'll get to that here in a minute. Before I get to that, though, I believe in all three of these. What do Americans believe in more? And I guess it's your definition of everything. Aliens or the fallen, as we put it. Sasquatch or, Bigfoot. And you got the chupacabra. And I think the chupacabra, I think there's wild animals, there's creatures out there for sure. For sure. See some wild stuff. And in terms of the Bigfoots, I can high probability I put it up there around the planet for sure. There's definitely a species like that. Probably very much just like Chewbacca. And they showed you as much. And then you've got the fallen, which is all kinds of different breeds of different life forms out there. Good, bad, ugly. Alien cards being played, it seems, in slow motion. John Boy seeing Sasquatch in 79. Boy, I wasn't even on the planet at that time. John Boy, much love, my brother. I hope you got a Polaroid of him. The reptiles are real. Remember, Satan is a serpent. Real deal here. They walk amongst us. Chimeras. Chewbacca, Cabra. You got jokes, right? Heads up, everybody. Here within a week, we're going to have a space event, a blood moon event. This is going to take place on March 3rd. You're going to watch the moon turn a dramatic copper red, and this is the blood moon. And we've talked about this before. I've talked about the tetrads, the triads. I used to keep track of this stuff big time, especially when we were in a big window. We were in a certain window. It was a 7-year window of the eclipse. And we had certain triads and we had certain blood moons that all came to a line. I covered all this stuff and we went through it. Well, we're entering a new phase. I think I need to revisit all that. Matter of fact, I need to dig back into it. I need to look at where we sit right now, because I always remember 2027 always stood out as a huge year in terms of all this stuff, and we're coming up on it. So yeah, 2027 and 2028. So you've got this going to take place. It says it's sunlight. Well, this is going to go down early. Totality begins at 6:04 a.m. Eastern, when the moon is fully immersed in the Earth's shadow. So, is the sun even risen? By that time on the East Coast, I don't know how much of this you're actually going to be able to see, but it's gonna happen. So you can have a blood moon rising. Let's just put it that way. Blood moon rising here on the 3rd. Some say it's an ominous sign. Of course, The sun, the moon, the stars, all that, the Most High said, they shall serve as signs in the heavens. Here's a pretty crazy one. And I know this happens, wherever, but a sinkhole opens up and swallows these two vehicles right here. Look at that. Boom. I'm going to restart this. You see from a couple different angles. That truck sitting right there. Yeah, you better back it up, buddy. Everybody. I mean, those cars just right down to the earth. Here's another view. Boom. Both of them just drop straight down, just hollowed out, man. You never know on these roadways what's been hollowed out, because if there's a leak going under the road or something, like going over to this other area over here off the road where water can run, this could be happening anywhere, man. I will say better that it happened the way it did, in my opinion, than, traffic moving. If it would have collapsed with traffic moving, way more injuries, I'm sure. But that was in Omaha. And this here is out of Denver. We've got fires around the country. I got to give a shout out to Deanne. We've had fire events taking place in multiple places. Oklahoma has fire events that were popping off. Florida in the Everglades, they are seeing a massive fire event take place down there. Also, some really odd weather. There's people wondering if it's weather warfare. The radar showing crazy stuff down there, and it looks like they are manipulating the wind down there, and it's feeding the fire. So this was the Thornton fire in Colorado. Beautiful aerial shot. You can see way back. Is that the city back there like that? That's it's a pretty wild shot there. I don't see anyone on the ground outside of this on the left side fighting it, or even down here on the ground. I see no water hoses on it. Looks like, see, sometimes they let these things just start to burn out. Well, I see one fire truck there, but I don't see even a hose on it. I see them on the far side. I do see some by those houses. Normally, they should be positioned up. Okay, yeah, just to sit there and watch, and if it gets close to the houses, that's what they want to do. They want to make sure they stop it there. So they look like they were in decent position right there on the front line. But you've got this warehouse and other places the fire was heading toward. They did contain this one. So fires, man, left and right. Much love, tacos. And my cat's out there in Colorado. This brings me to another major story. It's a big one. One of the largest breaches in U.S. history. They say exposes social security numbers, health records of 26 million Americans. I mean, that's major hack. Now, imagine if you were on a biometric system and they got a hold of your biometrics. You can never replace them. That's always the argument against biometric anything. Storing your biometric data, any of it. Because once someone has it, it's over. So 26 million people here. They say this personal data was stolen from Conduit. It's a company that provides printing, payment, and document processing for some of the largest health insurance providers in the nation. So this connects back to health insurance providers and someone involved with transferring your information there. In Texas, as many as 15.4 million residents have had their info compromised. In Oregon, officials report 10.5 million affected. And then you've got all kinds of people in Delaware, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, other states here affected. So it's a big one. It's always something, right? So Conduit acknowledges this breach, posting online that it occurred on October 21st of 2024 throughout January 13th of 2025. And it involved data held in its system. So apparently someone hacked in. They say the SafePay ransomware group claimed responsibility for the attack. We're seeing more and more of this. They want Bitcoin, and see, the Bitcoin's easily tracked. That's what I don't understand. And oftentimes they get busted in doing this, but a lot of data out there, the biggest in US history. So that's every week it's something new. Let's jump into AI. A man accidentally hacks himself into a 7,000 robot army. And this again shows that if AI is used in the wrong way, and even in accidental form, you can give someone a power that they could use maliciously. Okay, so we've got a software engineer in Spain, and he apparently has had the surprise of his life here where he found himself in control of all these robots. And what he tried to do is he tried to take like a PlayStation remote and control them. Okay? And thank you, Steve. I do appreciate that more than you know. Thank you for the support. He tried to control it with a PlayStation 5 controller, and that's when things got weird. He used an AI-powered coding assistant, which anyone can do out here, and it reverse engineered the communication protocol with DJI's cloud server, and it uncovered a critical back-end vulnerability, like the back door wide open. The authentication token for the single device granted access to everything, to live camera feeds, to microphone audio, to detailed floor maps of people's homes, the operational status, if it was cleaning, how many times it's cleaned. I mean, this is key, man. Skeeby, thank you for the support. This is huge because someone that's trying to be like highly secure, for instance, inside of a bank, inside of a mansion, anywhere, this little detail can compromise everything. If someone can hack into it in the back door and they get the floor plans of everything and even into the camera, they can all of a sudden see inside. They can see everything. It's like it's game over at this point. It's like a dream come true for some criminals out there. To be able to get into this. So they've got to fix this. And I'm going to tell you right now, you should know common sense. This cannot be the only ones that are hackable like this. I can almost guarantee you that a lot of other devices are going to be vulnerable almost the exact same way when you go looking. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to have to harden the security the way they're making them, go in and redo them, give them a fresh security update to where no one can get in the back door and do this. Or not, or just say all those devices are just kind of, they're hit. It's going to be a big price to pay for all these companies to have to take all these products back and have to do something. So they're probably just going to have to let them go and just update any new product that they put out there. which leaves a lot of vulnerable devices out there in the meantime. I'm telling you, man, these devices, it reminds me of a Russian site I seen, it had to been a decade ago now. And you could just go on it and you click on anywhere in the planet and it opens up a camera to like anywhere. Because everyone's cameras they got largely the security cameras all over the place. They're open system where anyone can go in and they can view your feed. It's crazy. And you can sit there and you can watch stuff all around the planet. Um, it's kind of the same thing. All those cameras have never been fixed. They're not going to be fixed. They're going to stay in use, and that downfall, that pitfall, will be connected to those cameras until a whole new line's put out, made a whole new way where none of that can happen. AI is going to infiltrate everything. If there's things that have not been exposed yet, loopholes and this and that discovered, AI is going to find it. And AI is just beating everyone everywhere. AI is like a top three, if not two, threat to me, if not one, if it don't take the top spot at this point. Because of the implications here, everything that it can do, everything that it can disrupt, the replacement of us as people, huge implications for humanity. A lot of it's not good. A lot of it's not good. I watched a little clip today, and I don't ever watch these guys. So don't think that I just caught the clip in my feed. I can't even believe I'm going to mention them, but I'm real. It was the Tate brothers. And the reason I stopped and I even lended them the second, and some of you ain't going to be able to even stand watching it if you go looking for it because of his mouth cussing and all the other stuff. Not Tristan, but the other one. Well, Tristan created an origami, a bird out of paper, right? And he raced AI, a bot. And he's supposed to be like a professional, like really good at it and can do it really good, really quick. And he got smoked by AI. And it's a perfect example of like, yeah, like you can't even, like, they're going to take you out and everything. Every little bitty little thing. Just making a paper bird. The warning here is that all these high-tech jobs, the jobs that paid some of the highest in history, they're not ever no more for a human. Architects used to be the most prized thing out there, and things like that, but not no more. Not no more. Coding here in recent years. Oh, this guy knows how to code. He knows how to do this and that. Oh, not no more. AI's wiped both of them out, and if it hasn't yet, it's about to. It's about to fully take them out because it can code 10,000 times faster than any human. It can do all of it 10,000 times faster, and it will make the human like useless. What it's doing is it's taking all the high profile, high paying jobs, and it's leaving nothing but the low level grunt stuff that's going to be left for humans. And I said this before, there's some areas like the handyman's going to be critical. There's going to be handyman all over. It's going to be like the main thing. You need something fixed. Well, you're going to have to be somebody that has knowledge and knows how to do all these things. That's what's going to make you valuable, large scale. Plumbing issues, electrical issues, and, things that the commoner doesn't know how to do, that an AI robot's not going to be able to climb up on your roof, effectively, and all this other stuff, and patch it up like a human could do. Or reach down in a small spot under the car hood, effectively and like get to a part and change something out in the car, humans are going to be utilized in those areas the most from here. All the other high profile stuff is getting wiped out, man. As you can see here, an AI beats human research teams at crunching medical data. So all your medical data, people, all your anything, the people that the people that sit there and they type in the courtroom when people are talking and this, that, like they're gone. AI is just gonna overhear everything, and it's gonna like so many different things are gonna get replaced, and they're getting replaced right now. You have to look at this and pay attention, man, going forward. Um, it's getting scary because a lot of these doctors or wannabe doctors and this that they're just depending on a lot of them are doing this anyway. They were just going online and trying to find the answer for things. But like AI is gonna like smoke them on this. Well, it's assisting them in this right now. Big time. How could it not? Trove of information it's gonna come back with in seconds. So it helps humans in that regard right now. But we gotta like some kind of limit on this stuff, man. Like you can't have it replacing the doctors. No, I don't want to go in and see an AI bot. I want to speak to a freaking human. It's like calling somewhere and having to deal with an AI bot on the phone. Do any of you enjoy that? Hmm? Hmm? I don't at all. Ever. They suck bad. And I'm always like instantly like operator, human operator. Every place is different, but the one place in particular that I've had to call here recently, theirs sucks bad. And I spent 30 minutes trying to get through to this place the other day just to have a guy from there call me off his personal cell phone. Like, yo, I'm like, yo, I've been trying to call you on the store for 30 minutes. Like, you guys got a problem. Yeah. And thank you for that, Jeff. If you guys got any info you want to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. And we're going to jump to some events that took place here today that were kind of shocking. We had multiple Americans get shot and killed off the coast of Cuba in a boat registered to Florida. People want to instantly always say, oh, drug runners, this and that. It could be, but it's not wise to just jump to conclusions. Just assume. We want to know who they are. Like Trump was getting away with blowing people up out there, and because they were, I don't know, not Americans, people didn't care, didn't want a name. I want a name. I want an image. I want all of it. I want tracked. I want to see who they're killing. I want to see what's really going on. Everybody should. Well, these guys, Americans, which have yet to be named, which I don't understand at all. There's injured Americans down there that have been taken to the hospital, obviously identified. They know they're Americans. They're not giving up names. I wonder if this is going to be the beginning with all the chaos with Cuba. It has a feel to it. But I will say, given the information that we got, Cuba looks to be in a stance to where they were defending themselves. Okay. Now, from the top here, this article, it says that Florida Republican Carlos Jimenez blasted the Cuban regime. And this is why I say this could be going somewhere. Shortly after news, we don't even have names. Shortly after news hit that border guards from Cuba got on a vessel And they fired on and killed 4 people and injured 6 in a U.S.-linked speedboat off Cuba's north coast. So these places all wording this different. It says the dictatorship in Cuba has just attacked a boat from Florida and murdered those on board. Dude, that seems like you're jumping the gun. Didn't you even read any of the description? I mean, right there it is in his own post. They posted details, but he did not mention none of this. The details go like this. The boat came up into international waters, like Cuba's defensive waters. They had a right to send a team of guys out to check it, just like our Coast Guard does. Well, when they got up next to it, and they were like, yo, you need to stop. We want to see some ID. The Cuban Coast Guard says that they got fired upon. Now, they better have some cameras and like camera footage this day and age. And after this event, they better get some if they don't. But they better have cameras rolling, especially in highly tense situations that could be politicized and lead to major war, like open the door for Cuba getting ran up in. Because they say they got shot at and the general on the Cuban vessel was hit. When he was hit, they returned fire and they lit the whole boat up. And when they did, 4 people were killed. And see, we lack details. You said you were fired upon. Did all 4 people shoot? See, this is where it starts to get dicey. People just want to say, oh, it was this drug runners, this and that, and then, off with it. Like, that's ridiculous. Just to speculate. I mean, it's fine, speculate what you want, but, like, I like facts. And, like, I like to get to the bottom of stuff. And, like, as an investigator, I ask questions. And I'm asking, who fired the first shot? You say it's a guy on the boat. You returned fire. Who returned fire? How many on the Cuban vessel? There was only 5 of you. 1 was shot and downed. That means there's 4. 1 had to have been driving the boat. At least 3. Was anyone even tending to the general then? Like, how many was shooting? Why did you shoot 4 people? Why did you just not shoot the person shooting at you? Did they all have a gun? Were they all brandishing guns? That's not been said. They never said that 4 people were firing. They said that 1 person was firing. And it seems to me they lit the entire boat up. They killed 4 people, including the person who fired in the process. Everyone was hit. The other 6 people on the boat were all hit or were all injured. Okay? So that's where I begin. And seeming that I can't get none of those answers, we're just kind of like sitting here like, well, when are we going to get some names of U.S. citizens? This is where it took place right here. Right there. So, like, you could have been down in Key West on a boat and just cruising and, like, heading down. Really, just the closest place you're going to get in Cuba is going to be between Havana and this location. And there's other little islands that sit right here. In this region. But, you know, this does fit the MO of a drug running operation. It does. It did have a Florida registration number FL7726SH. And it came within 1 nautical mile of Alpino Channel. Right there where I showed you. So I don't know where this is going to go, but I threw out there the questions that I have already. We'll see if we get any answers, if we get any names, and I'll update as I get more info. Now, Trump's already putting pressure on Cuba, and they're saying it could spark a Cohiba cigar price hike. So anyone that likes those big Cuban cigars, I mean, what gives? Like, I'm more concerned about Cuba, a functioning Cuba. Like, I'd rather see a functioning Cuba and like not a suffering country that's been in decline for decades because of the dictatorship there and everything else. I would like to see a free flowing Cuba, an open, vibrant place that we could just hop on a boat and go from Florida down to Cuba and get a taste of the Cuban lifestyle and culture and all this other stuff. And it didn't, keep on pushing. But no, in this world, it's war, war, war everywhere, everything. And like you can do nothing. Like it's ridiculous, man. Um, Governments, dictatorships, tyrants, all this stuff, man. It's bad. Um, I could see Trump making a huge move on Cuba. I see it. I could see it big time. If you're so concerned about all these other places because of the security of the US, how could you bypass the one tucked right up underneath your belly that actually had a huge missile crisis attached to it before? It really is like the gun to your head, when it comes to all this. Because I don't see China and Russia laying down with Cuba. Venezuela unfolded so quickly in a different way that they didn't have an opportunity to do much of anything. They can with Iran here. They can supply them with weapons. They've even got ships in motion, both Russia and China, to kind of counter us out there. But Cuba, man, on my radar for big stuff, along with Mexico. I've told you, man, we've been waiting for a long time for this, over a year, and it's here. Not that I want it to happen and be going down, but it's here, and we've seen it coming. When Trump came out and he put out an executive order, and it was on cartels, you knew that something bad was going to happen, like something was going to go down. Here we are. All hell's broke loose with the cartels down there, with them killing El Mencho. But in the midst of this, I've discovered some stuff that does not sit right with me. You need to be telling everyone you know about this. Okay? DHS is like kind of shut down right now because of what funding and all this government crap. That's a charade. The Department of Homeland Security is glitched right now. It's not in full effect, meaning that like there's a big gap in our security. Well, check this out. U.S. Cybersecurity Agency, CISA, reportedly in dire shape amid Trump's cuts and layoffs. So you're telling me all of a sudden DHS is like down and CISA is like the same? All these cuts, they're dismantled, like in disarray, not functioning properly right now? Hmm. I'm starting to feel like, when they sent our jets out to sea on Blind 11, like this doesn't jive, this ain't right. Something ain't right here. Like you don't have two big divisions of security for our country down, so to speak, over funding at that. That is a setup. That's a setup. If anything happens right now, it's because they set it up this way. My. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. It all tracks back to corruption in our own government, and nothing ever gets done. All these people voted Trump because he was going to come in and take out the deep state. Like, you've been fooled. Get over it. Like, they're all there laughing at you. Now what? Are you ready to do something now? Huh? Are you ready? Huh? Are you pissed that you've been played? You should be. We ain't mad at you. We don't hate you. I ain't mad at you because you voted for Trump over Biden. This is a process, okay? I'm not even mad. I'm mad at people who took jabs in the past. Okay? People wake up. They realize they made mistakes. Right? And we need everybody in this awakening, so to speak, to fight the beast. Everybody needs to say, hey, there's a bigger fish to fry here, and it is the beast. It's coming after all of us. We need to see it for what it is. We need not be fighting each other, left-right paradigm. We need to graduate, get above that, beyond that, stay there. That's why I like to think that this channel is, but new people come in all the time, and some people coming in off the Maca train, no doubt, looking for truth, and well, you're gonna get it here, but I wonder when this played through. I'm gonna go to some wild police body cam footage of a judge, and I play these because these guys in the country think that they can do whatever. These judges can go out drunk and get away with it, but nah, they should pay just like anyone else when they're doing stupid stuff like this. They could take someone's life, but they're so arrogant. Oftentimes, like this, these judges think that they can just talk the way out of it.
At 6. Where are we going?
We're going to jail. Okay.
The Michigan State Police body camera video of the arrest of a federal judge from mid-Michigan is released. The judge's blood alcohol level being well above the legal limit. 72-year-old district court judge Thomas Ludington was arrested in Emmett County back in October, suspected of driving under the influence. He was charged with being super drunk, that charge for someone whose blood alcohol level is double the legal limit. Terry joins us here in the studio, and Terry, the police report shows it was even higher than that.
What they call
yes, Dawn, the police report indicated Thomas Ludington's blood alcohol level was 0.27. The body camera video shows a man who didn't know how his car crashed, didn't know why his airbags were deployed, and had trouble following police instructions.
Sir, can you get out of the vehicle, or is your door stuck?
Well, I can get out. I'm not exactly sure why these deployed.
It's a little after 7 o'clock at night on a rural curved road in Springvale Township, east of Petoskey in Emmett County. The police report shows a caller saw a black Cadillac driving with its hazard lights on and crash into some signs and almost rolled over.
What's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
Tom.
Tom, how much you had to drink today?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing.
Ludington tells the trooper he is a federal judge. Ludington was appointed to the bench in 2006 by President George W. Bush. Ludington lives in Midland County, but told police he was on his way to his vacation home in Harbor Springs.
I want you to be honest with me. Tell me how much you had to drink today.
Seriously, I don't think I had anything.
You don't think so? Where are you coming from?
Federal court in Bay City, Michigan.
In Bay City?
Yeah.
So you've driven all the way up from Bay City?
Yep.
The trooper shows Ludington the damage on the right side of his vehicle, but Ludington tells him he can't explain how it happened and why the airbags went off. Ludington had difficulty understanding the sobriety test at times, and the trooper grew frustrated when the judge wasn't blowing into the portable breathalyzer.
Once you try that again, take a deep breath.
What are we doing here?
We're taking a preliminary breath test, but you're not following my instructions.
Why not?
Because you're not blowing.
Then Ludington got frustrated.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay. Go ahead and take that for me. All right, sir, turn around, place your hands behind your back. You're going to be under arrest for operating under the influence tonight.
Ludington was put in the state police vehicle, calling the state trooper an expletive before being driven away. Again, the state police report showed Ludington's blood alcohol level was 0.27, well above the legal limit of 0.08 and above the level of 0.17 known as super drunk. He faces a charge of operating with that high BAC. I reached out to his attorney for comment but did not hear back. Thomas Ludington is still serving as the U.S. District Court Judge in Bay City.
12 News at 6.
Okay, so he was above the 0.17 that is considered super drunk. That's funny. Not funny, but funny. I'm glad that his lion ass went to jail. Let's just put it that way. He could have killed somebody easily, but the audacity, the brazenness of all of it just blows me away, man. He said he's still a judge up there, so I mean, there's a difference between a little buzz and, I guess, being, and being hammered. There's levels to this, but alcohol, man, drunk's drunk, man. Period. I mean, anything that's gonna make you sloppy, not be able to think straight there. That's all right. On to this next one. We've got a mass cartel grave site where hundreds of human remains have been discovered, and this isn't good. This isn't good, man. You've got the whole FIFA World Cup games coming up here, and football fans are supposed to be going to many different places, and Jalisco, that region, I guess, was going to hold one of the games in Mexico, but now that the NGC has taken over all this stuff and we've got this cartel stuff popping off, it raises a lot of questions. And I've been putting an alert out on this specifically. Why? Because the Rothschild-controlled magazine Economist cover showed us a dude kicking a soccer ball, and on the soccer ball was all hell breaking loose for 2026. War, the economy tanking, all this stuff. But it was also subtly put on there. A little guy in the bottom right-hand corner kicking a ball is what it was. And all you're looking at on the front basically is this big ball with all this stuff on it popping off. It kind of signified to me that that's key. Something around all the soccer stuff is big time. I don't know, but I've got a huge feeling like one of these games is going to get attacked. I don't want it to be. But let me tell you, all the signs are there. Now, see, before I didn't have all this cartel stuff to factor in because it wasn't happening yet, right? All we had to do was go and look at the schedule, and we seen that in Seattle or here in America, there was going to be a huge game connected to this. And it was kind of messed up too because they're going to have two teams playing each other there that don't believe in all the LGBT stuff per their religion. And they're going to be playing in a stadium packed full of those type of people, as they say. And that they wondered what the environment was going to set into motion. And it raises some questions. But then you look at the environment down here in Mexico, where this cartel is just there. And like they don't have to try to slip into America to pull anything off. But look at this. They say last year, hundreds of human remains were discovered within a 10-mile radius of Akron Stadium in Guadalajara, which is located within the state of Jalisco. And it's one of 3 sports venues that will host 4 matches for the 2026 World Cup. You're literally about to pull off this World Cup in a war zone territory. Is it just me or like anyone else think that like something bad could happen here? I mean, the climate, the environment, the situation. I mean, come on. Like, I don't like this. So I man, it's got me like, I don't know. When I see things like this and they get me hung up, it's like, man, you really got to watch this because these guys are not just going to give a pass for whatever. There's been people trapped down there and all this other stuff. So I don't know, man. We'll see as this stuff escalates. I hope not, but they really have set this up to where these places are prime targets. And look, I mean, they're talking about a mass cartel grave site right where you're looking to play a game. I don't know if it gets any more ominous. If something does happen, you got to be like, whoa, you guys are idiots for letting it happen. They only found a bunch of a mass grave right there where you're playing. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know, man. With this El Mencho dead, here is a list of possible successors, people that would take over in the mix. LO3, he's a financial and logistics operator. El Sapo, he's in charge of recruitment and armed structure. El Jardinero, he's responsible for operation in several states. You got Double R, a key piece in the operational and tactical structure. And you've got El Tio Laco, operator with the strong territorial control in the Guadalajara area. Those are like the suspected guys, running things that will fill the void, they think, from here. So, when it comes to Mexico, if you're wondering who does what, well, the red on this map shows where each gang or cartel is dominant and where they're present. You can see that this new generation cartel, they have a massive presence. Okay, I mean a massive presence. What do we got? DJ, thank you. Being a member of the underground. And Cannons, man, thank you for gifting all those, man. Much love, my brother. Thank you for all the support. I can't thank you enough, guys. I appreciate it more than you know. So take a look here. Top left. New generation. They cover a vast majority of Mexico. Then you've got Sinaloa, which a lot of people are familiar with. And there's actually, there's an area down there that is called Sinaloa, that the Sinaloa cartel takes its name from. And we've even got people out there that chime in that watch the show from Sinaloa. They've given us shout outs from Sinaloa. You've got the Gulf cartel. You can see where they operate. More along the Gulf. That's why they're called the Gulf cartel. And then you've got Beltran. I mentioned this before with this newest guy that just popped up, Isidro. El Chapo, El Citro, as they called him. He run the Beltran organization, or the Guasuave, or Guasuave group as well. Then you've got Los Zeros, Knights Templar. All these other factions are really small. So the biggest are going to be the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación in the Sinaloa. And you can throw in the Gulf and the Beltran, and they're behind it, and you're probably going to hear something about Los Zeros, the Templars, Northeast in the headlines. So those are the major groups. And there's more than that. There's like other factions that are super deadly down here that they're smaller. They may not be listed here, but they align with these other groups. And it's what makes these other groups so deadly, is because there's so many smaller groups that have allegiance with them. Cartels, gangs. It's the same thing here. It's humans coming together, banding together for survival reasons. And I'll tell you straight up, I have people that are in these areas, again, that tell me that, like, the cartel's not always the bad guy in all of them's eyes. That some of these cartels protect the peoples of the citizens of these areas, these locations. That, you have to check in to get into these locations, yes, but it's not like they're massacring people, all the people there. No, they're just controlling the territory. So people are free to go about their daily lives. And see, people were doing that in Puerto Vallarta, in all these places down Mexico, tourist towns that were part of cartel control. But guess what? You never knew it because everything was peachy. It wasn't warfare. So people were down there on vacation. Everything was just fine. Well, nope. You go kill a leader of one of the main gangs and all hell's going to break loose. These guys are going to come out the woodwork. And they did. They have. And then people are like, oh, crap. We're like stuck. They show their power. I don't think that's going to stop. I think they've created the beginning of this whole cartel war as it was always meant to be. It's not going to stop. It's going to go from one thing to another. You're going to see extended drone strikes in operations along our border. And then you're going to see blowback, not only on the border, but in America. The southernmost cities, Tucson, El Paso, places like that, San Diego, they're on the radar big time for events. They'll be the easiest ones for someone to slip right across the border. And I've already got word from people that it's already happening, that tons are flooding in, especially San Diego. I've been told that. So the blowback is going to hit in areas like that first, if you ask me. We're just getting started. It's just the beginning when it comes to this cartel stuff. So expect more in the coming days. Much love, Jay from the Ville, Twilight, Geo down there, San Diego, Low Rider. I can't pronounce all those names, my brother. Trust me, but he got right there, Low Rider, locking down Viagras. Is that what I'm going to say? Oh man, I'll have to practice some of them. Los Reyes and Michoacan, Guerrero. Okay. Haven't worked on my Spanish, man, since like middle school, and I've never really needed to. But like now, I feel like I want to know more. It's not that hard of a language. Yeah. So yeah, I like Spanish is one I think that you should probably pick up as a secondary fluent language here, just to help you here in America at this point in time. It would be the second most spoken language, I would say, outside of American here that I see, versus like any other language out there that I come across. All right, let's jump into Epstein. Can't get through the stream without you only know cuss words in Spanish. I think isn't that usually how it goes, right? Yeah, when it comes to this whole Epstein thing here, man, disgraced former Prince Andrew is now banned from riding horses on this estate where he's at. And hey, he's getting punished. I've seen Thomas Massey and others come out like, oh, this is a victory. We've got an arrest. We finally got one arrest in terms of the Epstein thing. Well, no, it's not for pedo. It's not for the pedo. And you know this. You know that. I even called Massey out on X. I had to straight up right at him. Like, look, man, I support you and all this other stuff, but you can't claim this one. You got to take that down because he didn't get hit on nothing on sexual stuff. When you got guys going down on sexual charges here, finally, then we can talk. Then you can start. Then the goose eggs can drop off the list there. But right now, it's the whole list of goose eggs. And they tried to say, all right, we got an arrest finally. And then Mandelson behind him. No. You guys are hitting him on charges of giving up financial information to Epstein. That's what you're hitting him on. Those are the charges. Nothing to do with sexual. So that's the truth. Now, Bill Gates, he's been hung out to dry. But look, what they're doing here is sleight of hand, if you ask me. He's been caught and implicated in this, but he's working his way through it. He's gone through a divorce with this whole thing. It's done been said he caught sexually transmitted diseases. He's being made a fool. It's humiliation. I want you to know something, though. This is going to be a hard one for some people to understand and accept until you start to understand the occult. What you are witnessing is one huge humiliation ritual done by the club where all these people are in on this for ritualistic gain. You don't gain unless you go through it. Do you understand? Same thing with the Black Eye Club, the whole Black Eye thing. You don't gain unless you go through the process. Do you see? So this is what it is, right in front of your face. You're wondering why it's happening this way. Well, there you go. Okay, you have to understand how they operate, how your enemy rolls here. So this isn't all what it seems. You wonder why all these people are stepping down and getting called out, but no one's going to jail. Like real jail. This is it. This is it. It's a ritual. Right in front of your face. Okay? And Bill Gates, hit with STDs, cheated on the wife. He's coming out and he says, look, I'm apologizing to my company. I'm apologizing to everyone. Everyone around me, friends, family, everyone. He says, I was bad. He goes, I had multiple affairs. I screwed my marriage up. I did all this stuff. I did horrible things. He goes, because I want you to know something. What he did was with grown women. It was all by consent and all legit. It was with nothing, with underage, anything, is what he say. And I believe this is where they're going to leave it set. So now, I think he's fine with that. I think he's fine with the extent of it. Is it ends right here. If he can put the statement out there, and there's no emails to come out that they're going to show that, because if there are, then he's smoked there. Anyone that's got that dirt on you, you're smoked there. This is such a crazy game. I'm thinking of all the names of the people already that they've dropped. In what this is, it's like a flood. You open up the floodgates, and so many people's names come out in this at one time. It muddies the water. And then again, it's ritualistic. They're all participating in this on a low level. They all know that they're not going to go to jail. They just know that they're going to have to step down out of their position. You see what I'm saying? It's like not even Prince Andrew is in freaking jail. He's sitting on an estate controlled by his brother still. It's fraudulent. It's all fraudulent. Like he was in police custody for like less than 12 hours or something. It's not real. Like no one, and again, it's not on sexual charges. So Bill Gates is taking the ground that he did nothing illicit with any minors or any victims that are out there, period. That anything he did was 100% with adults and consensual is what he's saying. Well, we'll see. We'll see if they leave it sit there. They very well could, because he's fulfilled the whole thing of humiliation in this whole thing. And as we know, none of them are going to jail. Why? Because they're all in it. Can't you see why still would go to jail? Because they're all in it. They're all in the Epstein files. Duh, it's freaking obvious. Now, here's the name. Before her face was blocked out, but not no more. Mila Antonova. This is one of the women that slept with Bill Gates right here and connected to Epstein. this goes deep. Again, I don't, it's kind of like, I feel like it's a smack in the face of the people here every time I hear someone stepping down, like it's go to the next one. Larry Summers. These people should be getting cooked. No, just stepping down. He's out at Harvard because his name mentioned in some emails. Now, see, you can like, I guess it depends on what the emails say, right? But like, you can either like go down, sink with the ship, or you can kind of stand your ground. Like Whoopi. Not to defend Whoopi, I don't care for Whoopi, but she was mentioned. But she grabbed the bull by the horns, I will say, and she was like, look, I was mentioned, but you're not going to find me in any kind of sexual way. I was just mentioned because they said they were going to get us a jet, me and the person that I was with at the time, and that was it. And we didn't even accept it. But she was mentioned, and just, obviously anyone's name's even mentioned in it, it's gonna like drag your name through the mud. And that was what she was trying to say. So if there are no more emails involving Whoopi, then she can hide behind that. Okay? But if there's just one email that comes out that like shows that like there's more with Whoopi, like Whoopi showed up on the Lolita, all this other stuff, like it's done, it's over. Like she's a liar, she's smoked at that point. Same with Bill Gates. But this is Larry Summers now. I mean, the list is going to go on and on and on. The floodgates are open. So, like, none of these people are going to go to jail. Trump's putting none of them in jail. It's all one big show, man. It's black magic is what it is. It's a ritual right in front of your face. And this will empower all these people after this ritualistically. Most people have no idea about that. They don't take a second to understand it. I tell you all the time. This is a world ran by witches and warlocks and wizards, literally. And the jinn that sit right outside your vision in the ether. They're here tempting you every day. And these people are casting circles and communicating with them. And they're cheating in the game, in the system. There's rules to this game. But what do you know about that? People will never taught anything about none of this. That you even have a tool to fight back. You can do the same thing that they're doing. Because a lot of the stuff that they're doing is basically science that's been hidden from you. And just knowing it depletes their power. It's huge. And they're all in on this. Every bit of this, all the sacrifice that had to come with Epstein, it's all ritualistic. Every bit of it. Every bit of it with the adrenochrome, with the children, every bit of it is ritualistic. You see, that's the part that's been kept out of this the whole time, is the sacrifice of children. They just now, with the Cappy deadband switch that I showed you, and in some of the other images that they're putting out there are showing the children. Because there's no way Pam Bondi's going to say, oh, we had to go through all these files of children and like not show anything. And they're dropping this and people can't handle it. Like some people are seeing this stuff and like they're losing it. Rightfully so. You see how sick this beast is. It goes way deep there, though. Like all of the people in the upper echelon of music, of entertainment, of all of that. Hollywood right there, it's magic itself. It's all connected into this game. And, Epstein, the Mossad, was like one of the guys out there that specialized in blackmailing these people to control them. He's not the only one. There's others out there that you've never heard of. Trust me. That there's men out there that pull strings that it's forbidden. You see, they play the game smart, even though they're wicked men. You don't speak their name like none of these others. Their name is not to be spoken. Like Arthur von Wagenhagen or something stupid out in the Swiss Alps. He's like a deep state bloodline person in the shadows that like you will never see or hear of anywhere because they keep it that way. They're not mentioned. Everyone else is front cover out here. Most of the higher power in Rothschild and in the Illuminati bloodline, they will roll that way. They will stay out of the headlines as much as possible. Royal family's kind of a bit different. Yeah, that's a different animal there. But it too is connected into all the satanic stuff. Look at Princess Diana, 13th pillar, Eden. Keep me going. Like with all these people are dark, and this runs deep, man. This is magic, man. It's all magic. It is all what you perceive as magic. It is. Well, magic is wicked, Dabu. We shouldn't be. No, don't. Not looking at it like that. No, Jesus said you would go on to do greater things than he. He walked on water. He did all these magical things, and said you would go on to do greater things than he. What tools do you got? I'm sitting there trying to tell you some and give you some, and people want to freak out. You need to understand what you are and the power that you possess first and foremost. And if you want to be stupid to that, then that's just stupid to me. Someone wants to come along and unlock you. You should be open to knowing all the things that you're capable of doing, all your abilities, how you function and what you can do, instead of not. That would be dumb. Okay? You could speak things into existence, for example, and you need to practice it. You could just start there, because it's everything. Look, I'm going to give you just one example right now on that, because I should anytime I say it. I don't like Conor McGregor because he's a bad example on how to live right now when you get all the money. Conor McGregor, the big UFC star, right? But I watched the clip, and you can go look this up yourself. And I understood now why Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor. Because I found the clip, the only clip that ever mattered to me. It's a clip of him after he won everything, after he got all the money, double all this, he hit it. He just flat out said it. He goes, if you speak, he goes, I knew we were going to get here and all this stuff. He goes, when you speak something into existence and you believe in it with all your heart, it will come true. And it has for me. And it did. And I knew right then. He knew it. He was taught at a young age, unlike all the rest of us, the keys to all this. He utilized this in his ways because someone taught this to him. He sharpened it. And he focused in on being the greatest fighter in the world, and he achieved those goals. He spoke it into existence, and he believed in it with extreme power. That's the other part of it. You have to believe. You speak it, and you have to believe. God tried to show every human this with the Bible. That's why they call it basic instructions before leaving Earth. It's coded. It's coded, really. Right in the beginning, God said, let there be. Let there be. God said, God said everything. God spoke everything into existence. They taught you. They showed you right there. It's like trying to teach a child, I guess. They showed you. It's right there. Everything that you do, you speak into existence. I am a piece of God. You see? That soul energy that exists. These are the keys. These are the keys right here to getting out of here and to making the most of this life. If you want to curse yourself all the time and say, I can't do this and I can't do that, then you won't. I am 100% sure of that at this point. This place was designed a certain way, and you better do the things that you have to do to make the most of it. To have these, this is like someone giving you jewels, like spiritual jewels, knowledge. You should possess like jewels, like this is it. There's nothing grander than this. You start here, speaking everything into existence. You could start tonight, change your life. Some people just don't I'm convinced that most people just want to show up for entertainment. When it comes to actually doing anything, people have shown me, nah. That's it. Everyone just wants to show up, get something free, get entertainment, not contribute anything. If they have to, they're on to the next video. That is a problem that I don't know if it ever get fixed. It's a huge problem. And I'm bringing it up because I lightweight get sick of people showing up in my comment section and saying, blaming me for stuff that I never said. That they caught off someone else. I don't know what shows they're out there watching. Well, I don't know where they've been or where the other place, but you can guarantee it's like they're sitting around watching videos all day. It's all they got time to do. I'm just watching videos all day, jumping from one to the next. And I'm in the lineup because I am the truth. But they confused me with somebody else. Like maybe they were watching somebody else that was talking about Three-Eye Atlas. And they'll show up in the comment section just running their mouth. Where's them aliens that were going to come from Three-Eye Atlas? Boop. Never said that once, you piece of. So people like that got problems. They got issues. Construing and twisting things like that. And, when I see it, you just get blocked. You want to especially accuse me of something I never said. Just throwing it out there. On to this next piece. Let's go to Vance talking about withholding funding here from Minnesota. And I'm keying in on this because I think that they're going to start attacking all these places like this. Any place that's like this that they can show has a lot of fraud, they're going to go in and they're going to attack like this. And what this means is all the funding. Remember, the federal government or the feds, they print the money, right? And if any help comes from anywhere, any funding comes from anywhere, comes from the feds, right? Once you piss them off and they cut off the money machine, you're dead in the water, right? And that's what they're threatening to do to these democratic cities or these places like Minnesota. This is not good for the people that live in Minnesota getting caught in this, because this is going to affect everything that has to do with their city. Like, the people got to rise at some point here. You're just getting used and you're just going to be cannon fodder in the midst of this if you don't. Everyone wants to sit back and think someone else is going to do something, but like in Minnesota, people got to rise. They got to come together. They're going to shred the place if they haven't already. So you sit back and you do nothing. They cut the money off. Your state starts to die. Now what? Now it starts to die. Just going to sit back, keep your mouth shut. Jobs shrivel up. Kids can't get no jobs. Ain't no future, no opportunity. Still going to sit there and keep your mouth shut. You see where bitching out gets you in the end? Nowhere good. People need to rise right now is what they need to do. I say it all the time. Of course, I'm the one out here that's chomping at the bit, ready to ride. I don't care if I die. But it takes a mass of people. It's the mass that won't show. The cavalry is nowhere to be found. Quantum, thank you, man. When people want to start gathering, hopefully it's not too late. Hopefully it's not too late. I don't know the timing of things around here. I'm not promised tomorrow. So I just know I've been here this whole time trying to rally the troops, and like nobody does nothing. I never get an email for nothing. No one holding an event anywhere. I say it all the time. I get thousands of people to watch my stuff, and nobody does nothing. Do you know how disheartening that is? I'm a mirror, a reflection of what you really are. And sometimes it's I don't even know what to say. It's like there's no hope because nobody does nothing. So when I do see the smallest little bits of hope kind of gets me going, you know, whether it's a militia here or an event being held there. Just don't see anything large scale. Maybe this summer we'll see something else. I will say, with all this talk of mercenary stuff, if that picks up, that may be the only thing we get. And what I'm talking about is with Burchett. Burchett was talking the letters of marque, the bill that he has. If that bill gets passed, that bill will allow Donald Trump to use privateers or mercenaries, like Eric Prince hired mercenaries, to go into Mexico and to deal with the cartels. Now, it's a double-edged sword, because once you do that, it's like they can be using them against anyone, anywhere. They could say cartels are, oh, they're over here in El Paso, they're up here in Denver and Detroit, and just like ICE teams, they're sending them all over. I mean, people are like, that's dangerous. It is dangerous, but like, we're already there. ICE teams are already doing it. So if you add this on top of it, it's going to be another layer of armed men controlled by your government being let loose, no matter what the excuse for it is. So, things to think of. If you're a sanctuary state, or you've been mentioned, like LA, like Trump said, he gave a little bit of information away when they were talking about Minnesota and all this fraud. He was like, other places are worse than them, and they're on the books for billions. He mentioned California, Newsom. So if they go there after them next, oh man,
Americans. So we're announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. Now, what is this going to mean? What this means is that, first of all, the providers on the ground in Minnesota have actually already been paid. The state has paid those providers the money. What we're doing is we are stopping the federal payments that will go to the state government until the state government takes its obligations seriously to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated against the American taxpayer. There are a few different ways that we're doing that. There are a few different affirmative actions that we're taking today. Dr. Oz is going to talk about those, but let me talk a little bit about the spirit of this and why we're doing it. So number one of the examples of fraud that we've seen in Minnesota that we verified that is just awful is that a program that existed to ensure that autistic children had access to some after-school services has made a number of people rich. Not by providing services to needy children, but by allowing fraudsters to take money that ought by right go to American citizens and to American families, and to set up sham businesses, set up sham clients, set up people who are not even autistic but claim to be autistic in order that they benefit from the money that's out there. Now, what does that mean? Number one, it means that a lot of people are getting rich off the generosity of American taxpayers, but more fundamentally and more importantly than that, it means that there are kids in Minnesota who deserve these services, who need these services, and they're not going to those kids, they're going to fraudsters in Minneapolis. That is
okay, but stopping all money from going to Minnesota is not going to help those kids. JD Vance. Nope. It's not.
Unacceptable, and that's the sort of thing that we're cutting off with this action today. Let me make one final point about the spirit of this. You know, one of the things I love about our country is that we're a generous country. We're a generous people.
Man,
we take care
of deception and slick wording. The crap that he just said, to hell with this dude. Is Dr. Schmaz and both these goons. I can't stand none of them because they've sold us out. When you understand how wicked and evil these people are, then you understand why I feel the way I feel. Because I know all the layers behind all these goons. And most of you do too at this point. He just tried to give his reasoning an excuse for cutting money off because he cares about the children that deserve, that are getting screwed there. Well, no, cutting the money off is going to completely make the entire place poor and shut it down. Is what they're going to do. Isolate it. And he won't say that and paint that picture, but that's exactly what they're going to do. It's common sense. When you cut the money supply off to anywhere, it's done. That's what they're doing. If you're in a city or in a blue state that's caught in this, look, in this, if Newsom gets in there next time, every single red state or whatever, every place on the other side of the tables will turn. Literally. They will come under fire. If Newsom's in there, then all these red states could get funding yanked. And he could do so and get away with it easily, quick and easily, because Trump laid all the groundwork and did it first. And nobody bitched and said a word. Dude, Trump is the one, like, setting the demise of everything here. It's nuts, this administration, the police state, rolling out the Peter Thiel Palantir police state. Here's one that some of you might like. This goes with your rights and your freedoms. We've got a West Virginia bill introduced to sell machine guns to American citizens. Yep. This is authored by Gun Owners of America. This bill would authorize the state to sell machine guns to citizens. Currently, newly manufactured machine guns are banned for civilian ownership thanks to an amendment that was slipped into the 1986 Firearms Owner Protection Act. You know how they like to slip the pork in. Known as the Hughes Amendment, named after Representative William J. Hughes, a Democrat from New Jersey. This amendment banned all civilian ownership of machine guns made after May 19th, 1986. But if you owned one before then and had one, then apparently it was legit in this loophole. But now they're talking about saying the hell with all that you should be able to own one. And what they're talking about, this goes down to this fast, it's called a FRT, a forced reset trigger that basically will make a gun, the trigger reset like super fast where like you can fire it like a machine gun. And they're saying that should be technically allowed by law. So this will be interesting. And if they're going to allow this, man, at this point, after all the gun grabbing they've done, to me, it would just be like, I'm all for it. You should be all for all the gun rights, right? But to me, as being who I am and seeing all this stuff all the time, it's like, hold on. They're actually giving, for one time, they're making a move to like give us not just like guns, but like the baddest guns. Like what? Are you expecting like an all-out war? And you're like, you feel sorry for us or something? Like you're just giving us machine guns? That's what I'm starting to feel like. Because if the enemy's got them and you don't, you're smoked. If they have superior weapons, you're smoked. And when it comes to AI, you're smoked. Everybody's going to be smoked when it comes to that, huh? Yeah. Well, Maryland, you have your state suing to stop DHS from converting an empty warehouse into an ICE facility. It's good. I mean, you want attention on this. You don't want one of these covert warehouses popping up in your neck of the woods, that's for sure. That's going to be used solely to detain humans. Period. We warned about this, man. Hundreds of millions of dollars, dozens of different facilities across different states. That's nightmare. So that you know, the Pope Leo, he has labeled the far right the greatest concern that he has. Oh, really? Really? All of a sudden, the far right, or the people in this country that would be against the government the most, in terms of the left-leaning tyrannical bloc that he apparently represents, because he apparently is leaning left, not right. He's attacking them. Now, if he was on the right side, would he be saying this? He'd probably be attacking the left. But he tried to play this card like he wasn't leaning any way. You know, he was neutral, all this, but this is a character. What he's going to do on the world stage, yet to be seen, but he looks like he's in decent health. He could be around for a minute. Kev Barr, thank you so much, man. For real, man. Nah. Yeah, I mean, you've got points there. You definitely have full points. Fully automatic weapons, yeah, only good. It's like an AK. It's only good for close range stuff. You're gonna want to get out to an AR or a different rifle. They can shoot further with a scope. Machine guns, are just like, yeah. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild out there. It's just crazy to know. Thank you again for that super chat, bro. Appreciate it more than you know. What's that? All right. The State of the Union just went down. I'm going to play some clips and highlights out of this. Oh yeah, Kev's got the knowledge. One of our vets. Salutes to you. Thank you for everything. Serving the country and everything, and being a rider. I'm going to play some clips here from the State of the Union just to give you an idea of some of the things that they talked about, went over.
More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Hit off each one here.
And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years. Year 1900. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. And as time goes by, I believe
beast worshippers.
The tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
You hear that? He's still saying it. He upped the tariffs. He's still saying, pushing the whole terrorist thing. He's saying it's going to replace income tax in this country. And that's his plan. That's what he's saying. He's like sticking to it. So even though like the Supreme Court like said no, like he didn't care what they say. Like it's like what? He's got some remarks here also. He's going to make on Iran that I'll play.
Of the roadside bar. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protests, 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth.
So these are the things. This is kind of how this whole thing went.
American oil production is up by more than 600.
Talking for hours about all these things like this, and at
age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II.
And then there was something here that caught attention. When he was talking, you had a couple of them in the crowd yelling at him, and it seemed to like piss him off.
And you should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens, in many cases drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Like, gosh, one big club, the Dems, Republicans, behind the curtain, all hanging out anyway. Here's one of the latest examples. You've got you got Fetterman here wearing a suit and showing up and hanging out with the Republicans.
The rest of people in my party would stand up and clap for. I clapped with a lot of those things that it seemed like others. Like I stood up and I clapped to recognize the family that lost their daughter, the Ukrainian girl that was stabbed to death, in North Carolina. And I stood up and I clapped that political prisoner from Venezuela. How you can't celebrate those kinds of things. And I also celebrated all the veterans that were in the audience as well too, and even more the political things like Erica Kirk. I stood up and I clapped for her as well too. Now here, can't we just be more kind to a widow? I mean, we just shouldn't be that long ago that a widow, with young children has her husband murdered. How we can't just acknowledge that as well too, whether white people would attack her, whether the left or the right either. So I'm always going to stand up and clap for things that I agreed with like striking the Iranian, sites now for me. I never worry about who's standing up or clapping. If I see it, I'm going to. If I don't agree with it or whatever, I'm certainly not going to yell and scream and disrupt the whole thing.
He took more of a respectful approach to it versus the other ones, but I guess it's all about your point in there. It's all a show to me anymore, man. Some people enjoy the show. These guys are like actors, which brings me to an actor, De Niro, who the way these guys being actors is like, how much of this is like real? It's like you've seen them in these roles, and how they sit politically. How much are you playing here? But this guy tries to act like he's getting all emotional over caring about the people.
Yeah, you're always about lifting up everybody around you.
Yeah,
everybody,
of course.
Why is that?
You have to lift people up.
Why?
You have to bring them together. Period. You can't divide people. You can't win that way. It's a no-win situation. And look what we have. Look who we have there. It's almost like a destiny to have this thing there, attempting to destroy this country, and maybe not even understanding why. So it's up to us to protect the country
That we love.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where he sits on it. I just don't understand why he isn't feel so strongly about that. I mean, someone in his position. I don't know, all these other issues that we could take up and talk about that he sits on the other side of. Let's go to the UK for my cats over there. If you guys, I know it's late over there, but you've got some police officers standing up to some guys in this Muslim area that you don't see happen too often.
I hear what you're saying. In this country, we have freedom of speech, the same way you guys have your freedom of speech. Now, you guys don't need to see eye to eye, and you don't need to agree, and you're all more than welcome to stand here and have conversations with them, but they're not being aggressive. They're not. That's their risk. That's their risk.
I told the police, because on the way, I heard them say an offensive word about the religion. I ignored it, I went, I came back, on the way, he's talking about a prophet, then
Now, I don't know where this took place at exactly, specifically, but I know that this is happening more and more, where there's clashing between people because people can't assimilate, or they're getting into it more and more. These guys don't seem to be as hostile as the others that I've seen. I mean, I've seen packs of guys that they come into these countries and they go down the street and they're just smacking people and women and children and like there's no men or no authority around to stand up and stop them. And they just go about their business doing this. You see here, Florian. If you hear this, Florian, out there, thank you so much for your efforts. There's not many. You're the only person that's reached out and cared to ask and cared to help. Thank you. After 4 years of war, Zelensky wants all the land back. Imagine, it's been more 4 years. Well, maybe since he's been in power. The whole Ukraine thing has been going on forever, though. He wants all the land back. Like, good luck with that. You're going to go to war with Russia and then expect all the land back. I don't know. There might be a nuclear exchange here. The treaty's up. They are talking about it big time, and the threats were flying this week, where Putin flat out said that if you guys try to bring any kind of nuclear component into Ukraine, you're going to get hit. He even warned France and in the UK, saying that you will both get struck if you try it. Like it, the threats, nuclear threats out there, big time. We played that. We've got dozens of F-22 stealth jets landing in Israel. This shows that something's about to happen with Iran. It's about to go down. U.S. evacuates personnel from the Beirut embassy. Huge numbers of Allied forces exit the Erbil base. You're talking tons. Like they're clearing it out. These are moves that you see before a military strike. It's all there. Like they're probably going to do it within the week or so if they're going to do it. Again, there's certain days that if you dive into it, that would stand out as being potentially better days, like on the weekend. Friday in particular stands out often. But it just depends on a lot of things, even with the weather. That's one thing that pushed them back with the Maduro raid was weather. And they admitted it. Sometimes I think they should just keep their mouth shut militarily, strategically. But, Hezbollah says they're going to stay out of any fight between Iran and the U.S. as long as the strikes are limited. Oh, it's such a theater. And when it comes to Starlink and using technologies over there, this clip right here shows how they're trying to talk about what's going on the battlefield here in Congress, and they let like classified information slip out, and they had to stop it. They had to stop the conversation once they realized it, and the lady just kind of laughed it off. But it was whatever they said was already said. It wasn't too damaging, but they were starting to talk about stuff that apparently they were not supposed to.
I believe, Mr. Chair, that we just got a notification that the State Department is actually funding a new program to, I guess, with Starlink. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Can you explain that?
I wouldn't want to speak on behalf of the State Department, but what I would share is that we've been investing in communication tools over years that allow for information to be sent into Iran even when internet connectivity is blocked. We specifically began supporting the deployment, the operation of about 200 Starlinks early on.
All right, you know what? I'm going to interrupt you. We better not talk about it. Okay, so.
You see what he was doing? He was just starting to unload and say how we're able to get information into Iran even when the Starlinks were down. Remember, they did a huge internet blackout, and that still didn't matter. He just gave it away, and like somebody was like, shut up. And she shut up like, uh-oh. Yep. And SpaceX anyway is revealing details about this next gen cell service. They're gonna launch a cell service. Why wouldn't they? Via all the satellites. It would be among the best service you would ever get. Having a satellite phone back in the day was amongst the most expensive you would ever get for like an emergency backup or anything. But to make it streamlined, well, Elon can. When you've got all the Starlinks in this whole system, it's your business in motion. Why would you not? They could easily do it if they start to put the right components inside of the newer Starlinks that go up, and they will have a global system. Just that simple. It would actually be very easy for them to do. They're aiming at peak speeds at about 150 MBS per user. Okay, so you're talking like In all this, we're talking 5G right now. They're talking building all this up onto 6G, which is a whole different setup. It's a whole different wavelength when it comes to the 6G, which we've discussed in the past. So the Chinese competing with Elon on that front, as well as on the bot front. The CIA slipping out a warning to Iranians, telling them that they want to help them. U.S. bombers are in the area, but they want to help them, and that if they want to contact the CIA, this is how. So they're making sure that the people on the ground, if they want to help in any way, can do so. And you've got the USS Gerald Ford hit by a sewage crisis that was really embarrassing here. Its crappers apparently exploded and stopped working. And this thing's out on like a record deployment. It had to pull into somewhere to try to get fixed, to get serviced. It has 4,500 personnel on board, and it has a chronic sewage system failure. Wow. It's boats like this that I could see that are so old and like with issues like this that I could see them like hitting and sinking and saying Iran did it easy. I mean, these old boats, at some point, it seems like pulling off an event like this would be advantageous to the West. It's how they operate. It'd give them an excuse to attack Iran full scale, to pound them to hell and back. You sink one ship out there and they say they did it, it's over. If you could wake up any day this week and one of them's on fire, the visual effect would be played all over the freaking... It would be tantamount to like 9/11. You'd see sailors jumping off into the ocean. They'd be replaying it left and right, billowing smoke. And then the whole thing sinking, going down like the Titanic. Of course, people die in the midst of all of it. Planes going into the water. It would be dramatic as it gets. That's what they love. And that's what they love. You couldn't beat that. I mean, lightweight couldn't beat it. Like that right there is like a top tier event that would benefit them in more ways than one. It's scary. It benefits them so much so that I think it could really happen. If they really need the excuse, that's all they got to do. Remember, if any of these things do unfold, we've talked about them in detail because they stand out. Iran strikes a covert missile deal with Moscow. Oh, covert, huh? We all know about it. So they go on to say that they also are buying Chinese supersonic anti-ship missiles. And this right here is what I'm talking about. If a hypersonic or supersonic gets launched, they have no way to stop it, which is crazy to think that all someone's got to do is to shoot at our ships with these weapons, and we have no way to stop it. We have no way to stop it. People just assume. They just say, we got the baddest weapons on the planet. Well, like, people talk crap. Okay? I listen to military experts all the time and follow them. And I've listened to them repeatedly say that our warships are sitting ducks when it comes to the hypersonics, that we've not demonstrated, and I say it all the time as well, one time that we can stop a hypersonic missile. Especially when it comes to a warship, because they don't have the capability. What are you going to do? Launch a plane, try to take it out or something? That's not going to work. hypersonics come down like lightning. You're going to have like a rail gun equipped. And it's going to have like AI with a laser to try to get this thing in the sky before it hits you. That's like one of the only ways. And they know this. And very, very few of our ships have the weaponry of a railgun equipped. It is out there, but not large scale. And again, that's in a real setting. Like, this is all set up. All these wars are set up, man. And in terms of all the world stage stuff, I'll finish off here. With Panama, they seized Chinese-linked ports. And they've got them. So how's China going to respond to that? You know, we're starting to clamp down full scale all around, like Trump said. And either China stays over there and we stay over here, or something's going to pop at some point. Especially when China decides to go after Taiwan. So, all right. Got about 2 hours and 20 minutes in the books here on this one. Brings us to a close. Check the chat here. I expect exciting things to be popping off here anytime. Crazy times we live in. Like, you know, any day you can wake up and war with Iran, or the market's collapsing, or silver runs to 200. Or that happened too. Any extended war, big extended war, metals run. Snowball says, I love Paris in the spring. Never been. Maybe 10, 20 years ago, I would have took someone up on an offer if I had a chance to go to Paris or something like that. But like now, see the videos that I see, going to see the Eiffel Tower and all that, like I'll pass. I would want to come to France to see France for its Frenchness, not for being overran with migrants. I want to see it for its uniqueness, not the uniqueness that's been stripped of. Yeah, which sucks. And that was the goal here. Send people in that couldn't assimilate in all these places. The United States is the same, it's just much larger. You see this in the UK, you see this in Ireland, you see this in all these places, man. It's sad. You would want to go there on a vacation, see Ireland for its roots and all this stuff, but no, you got a bunch of illegals that can't assimilate there, messing with you or whatnot. So, well, if Abu said that Israel would let us dock to fix the poop shop, they would or wouldn't. Hoodie Ross, much love. Shout outs Matt Pack, Crown Jewels. You sent something over. Haven't even had a chance to listen to it. Just seen it in the email. I'll listen to it here after the show. It looks like it may be music. And John, thank you for the coffees here at the end of the night. What we got here? I just finished up a brand new song with Hoodie Ross. I got another one. I'm just getting on deck that Crown Jewels is going to be a part of, I hope, in Hoodie. And it's another one. What's this? Uh-oh.
Yeah, bro, what up? Yes, that's what you're on, bro. I'm just at Francine Boutique working on Gorilla Rags for Loon, bro. Yeah, man. I was just thinking about when we gave our scallied up to Tony Warren and Caroline Reynolds.
Yeah,
then
got a
she
new
was
one.
come out. Yeah, I remember. So I hooked pen to paper. Check this, bro. Shameless. behind closed doors. Shameless, taking intellectual force.
Shameless, your industry's on a crash course. Shameless, full of pedos and crack whores. Shameless, like license fees they ask for. Shameless, don't pay they'll send a task
The
force.
whole industry is shameless with the rough screen antics. That's why I'm so active at the Rob scene practice. It looks like they took our script and bashed it. Changed the name of the title, blacked and backed it.
Shameless, yeah, they all shameless for sure. When we're creating rights, I think we owned it all. So we showing you all how easy it all connects. The rules are straightforward, it's not too complex.
It's been hidden in plain sight, but we knew from old four, yo, that somebody plagiarized our workload and formed the company upon the back of our workflow. But we got the metadata that predates the first show.
Letting you know about these shameless acts come from all scandally up, rallied up to the max. It was all our idea, I know so now craft. We polished it up, but it got repackaged real fast.
But not that, and yeah, we've always known it. Our work got jacked, what a team of cronies. We've been sat back waiting and now's the moment to wear the truth out and then daddy's sober. We wrote it in 02 and handed it over, but somehow creative rights never got to the owners. Shameless moves from these one-trick ponies. Industry whores are just shameless phonies.
Shameless, this is for the mainstream cops. Shameless, whip you like a mainstream horse. Shameless, hush hush behind closed doors. Shameless, taking intellectual thoughts.
Shameless, your industry's on a crash course. Shameless, full of pedos and crack whores. Shameless, like license fees they ask for. Shameless, don't pay, don't send a task force.
Now we're laying that truth down, shameless, and you know it. So we calling it out like the last true poet. A subject access might discover the owners. As the valley estate set the scene for these moments.
Broly changed the spot, the characters and title. Cause our opening scene was kids burning motorcycles. So I'll break the cycle when I come to find you with a gang of AI lawyers and deranged disciples.
Straight up, big up, we labeled and home quick. No pennies for our thoughts, test some serious old shit.
No shit.
Literally, replace the motive. No life in hell bound, lo and behold.
Shit's been bestowed on us to take our throne and honors for our creative intellect. We will listen to offers.
Fuck that.
Disgrace writers in the ropes of office. Our creative coffers was placed inside their
They
pockets.
say what you don't know won't hurt. That's not how the game works. They took the piss and the curse. We ain't shutting up till we fully immersed. Jacked by these shirts for our works and our worth. And yo, there's nothing worse. Shit will drive you berserk. So I'm getting it up my chest before they beat the earth. Release the dirt. I hope payback's a bitch. Shameless movers, so I guess the name fits.
Shameless,
this is for the mainstream cops.
Shameless,
whip you like a mainstream horse.
Shameless,
Hush hush behind closed doors.
Shameless,
Taking intellectual thoughts.
Shameless,
Your industry's on a crash course.
Shameless,
Full of pedos and crack whores.
Shameless,
Like license fees they ask for.
Shameless,
Don't pay they'll send a task force.
rest in peace, I'm blessed and free to the breeder.
It's been in them for 20 odd years. And the script we wrote, we gave Tony Warren and Caroline Reynolds. Now I'm not saying that they used it, but it's one hell of a coincidence, yeah? And they both wrote saying that they loved it. All scallied up.
Nice. Nice, man. Always love the new ones, man. Fresh banger right there, Crown Jewels, man. We'll have more coming your way. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, we'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. And I've got more music lined up, man, just ready to drop. And Deanne, thank you so much for that, for the super chat and the love and for everything, for the prayers. I want to thank all of you that keep me in your prayers. It's appreciated more than you know. The power of prayer is strong. Those of you that pray for my good health, I appreciate it more than you know. Much love.